In 103.3 FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
Yes, sir! It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, now on 103.3 FM. We're on the go at sasportsstar.com. My name is Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2. We do sports, pop culture, and nostalgia on halftime, and we are in the dark. James Pledger's producing this show with me. The lights have gone out. The generator has kicked on, but the lights in the studio are out, so it's very intimate. If you're following along on Facebook or YouTube, you can see that I don't even have a computer to run this feed. I'm using my cell phone. Very Blair Witch Project. But
are you running through the woods? What's going on?
I know. I you know what? I'm a little bit frightened because normally I have my notes out. Normally I have my laptop out. I can check my phone because I follow along with my notes and whatnot. But this entire show is going to be off the top of my head. I'm pretty excited about this, but Pledge, it's been funny, man. It's been an interesting morning because right now, though it is dark in the studio right now, the generator kicked on and we have lights in the hallway. And for some reason, we have a TV that still works in here. The board works so we can actually produce this show.
Our StreamYard works.
Exactly, man. But hope everyone's safe out there on the roads. It was dangerous going on the roads earlier today. You know, R&R in the morning, they do it from home. The Blitz from 4 to 7, Joe Reinagle and Jason Minix later on today, they're going to do it from home. But Pledge, you and I have to brave the roads, man. I had to go 25 miles one way in freezing rain.
Uphill, in the snow.
Exactly. I feel like Veronica Corningstone and Anchorman. I cannot deprive San Antonio, the listeners, of my sports takes, of my pop culture and nostalgia. I'm not going to let freezing rain do that. But, man, this is going to be a fun show because, again, seat of our pants right now. We haven't had time to prepare for much other than the fact that we're trying to figure out what works in here, what doesn't. Somehow what works is the ring light that is in this room.
This one too.
Yeah, so without the ring light, I'd be looking like you'd just be seeing my teeth at that point.
I kind of feel like, buckle in, guys. Let's have a nice campfire story. Gather around the ring light.
Yeah. And what's funny is that the lights came back on for like a brief moment and then turned back off and then back on and then back off. So it might actually work at some point. But as of right now, it doesn't. I don't have internet access. I just have a ring light, a cell phone, and my boy Pledge. And I also have my memories because since the ring light works, I thought this only reminds me of the 1990s when Conan O'Brien was in his prime. Do you remember this?
In the year 2000.
We would be doing radio by ring light with nothing more than a microphone and soft lighting.
In the year 2000.
I would tell my wife that I'd be okay because the vending machine has food in here, but it's no longer working.
In the year 2000.
I brought water and you brought peanut butter and jelly, but forgot the bread.
In the year 2000.
My wife told me, take some pajamas. So I brought t-shirt and chones because that's how I roll.
In the year 2000.
I would bring my Iron Man fleece blanket and a pillow just in case the weather turns bad after the Blitz and I can't leave.
In the year 2000.
We'd have no power in the studio, but somehow we'd have a TV, and this might turn into a slumber party.
In the year 2000.
That the lights in the radio station would go out and it would become so dark that I would turn down the hallway that was so dark to go into my room off to the corner and run into the wall because I couldn't tell the difference between a dark hallway and the wall.
In the year 2000.
All right. right, man. I'm done with Conan, but that's so funny because, again, what works in here is the ring light. I don't know what's connected to what.
I have zero clue.
Apparently,
I'm not even sure if we're technically going out over the air right now.
I know. So if you want to reach out to us, Facebook, YouTube, we're live right now. Just search San Antonio Sports Star, like and subscribe. I'm assuming the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Frank Valdez reaches out on Facebook, and I'm looking, it says, in the year 2000, hell yeah. You know what? That's the nostalgia that I like. Back in the day, back when I was at Southwest Texas State, Conan O'Brien was a big deal. But simple times minus the wine, says Joanne Tomko. Very nice. Hey, welcome to the show. We will talk sports eventually.
Maybe. I don't know. How much prep work have we done?
Very little of it. But I do know this. DeJounte Murray finds out tonight whether or not he's going to be an all-star. We'll get into that around 12:15. At 12:30, breaking news, Brian Flores, who filed that lawsuit against the NFL, is apparently a finalist for a gig as a head coach in the NFL. We'll tell you what team, and also the conspiracy theory that Pledger was telling me in the dark about this a while ago. That's at 12:30.
Sounds so weird.
I know, we're in the
Pledger
dark.
was telling me a conspiracy theory in the dark.
At 12:45, it's Groundhog Day. So we got to talk about that movie. Is it one of Bill Murray's top 5 movies of all time? But again, welcome to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Pledge, it's going to get down to 25 degrees. By the way, if there's anything funny out there, let me know because I can't see the type in here.
So Gabriel Chacon on our Facebook Live says, y'all just need to find Ryan Eagles' can of Tresemme and light it up.
Dude, Joe Reinagel does have the best hair of everybody here at San Antonio Sports Star, all of Alpha Media in general. But Pledge, on the road today, how was your trip over here? Because you didn't get on the freeway.
I did not. I managed to stay off of Bitters. I just stayed on the access road, got onto San Pedro, came all the way down and took the feeder down to Fort Sam to get here. So usually there's that huge way up in the air overpass right there at the airport coming off 281, getting onto 410. I was like, nope, not going to do that this morning because I woke up at like 6:40 and I went to walk outside and it was like 32 degrees or 33 degrees. And then when I got in my car at 9:30, there was ice on my car and it dropped to 28. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
You showed your tell right there that you're from Houston. You called it a feeder. It is the access road, dude. That's no, it's the access road. I speak on behalf of San Antonio. It's access road. If you want to call it a frontage, I guess, but the feeder is what you call it in Houston. I drove over 20 miles one way over here. I live outside of 1604 in Petranco, about 3 or 4 miles outside the loop. And I didn't think anything of it, man. It was pretty empty on the roads. Didn't think anything about it. No slipping and sliding, but I know it's going to get worse later on because come 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, we're talking about temps dropping to 27, 26 degrees in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
In the hill country, it's usually 5 to 10 degrees cooler. So it might be in the teens to the low 20s over there. The rain may have stopped, but what's on the ground could turn to ice. You never know.
Mm-hmm. And it's not going to dry up throughout the day.
And if schools were out today, I don't see them coming out tomorrow, right? So I know my kids are in Northside ISD. They were at home for today.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's at University Hospital. She was forced to go into work, but I have a hard time believing that people are going to work tomorrow. So stay safe out on the roads and, just kick back. Listen to some radio, man. Listen to us.
Batella Franklin on our Facebook Live feed says Joe's hair products can light an airport runway, and all I can think of is the end of Die Hard 2.
That's funny, man. That's awesome. But man, thanks for playing along with us. Again, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. But it's been a day. But one of the things, Pledge, is that I wasn't here last year when the ice storm hit or when the snowstorm hit. And you were telling me earlier that you have experienced some bad reactions to this. Are you going back in time and thinking back to were you snowed in? I mean, what happened back then?
Oh, I have PTSD in the worst way. not only was I snowed in and couldn't go anywhere, I actually ended up walking to a convenience store that happened to be open a couple of miles up the road, but lost power,
Yeah.
lost water, lost everything, and it was so incredibly cold that I remember I was in basically something very similar to this except sweatpants. Like I had a hoodie on, I had my pea coat on, I had a scarf tied, I had like 3 blankets on me, and at one point because the only way I could stay warm was to like just go to sleep. Like my roommate thought I was dead at one point.
I feel bad because
It was for like 3 or 4 days.
the ice storm, the snowstorm of last year where all the power went out statewide, we didn't experience it at my house. I understand that, my house is part of the grid connected to the fire department.
I was like, it's either a hospital or a fire station. You're on one of
Exactly.
those grids.
So everyone's freezing their butts off.
I
Meantime,
learned that during Snowvid last year.
dude, I will tell you this much. If and when we ever sell that house, we will make that a point that it did not freeze over. But no, last year we just went out, played in the snow, came back in, watched Netflix, man. I mean, like it was like a vacation day at home. It was a staycation.
Oh, man.
And now I feel bad. But we had people come into our house and thaw themselves out. Some spent the night as well. So we were at least a little bit of a mini hotel there. But last night I realized we didn't have any groceries. And my wife is telling me they're making a run on HEB,
Mhm.
like the aisles are empty. And I'm there going, suckers, going to HEB. Don't get me wrong, I love me some HEB. HEB is the greatest grocery store in the world. But when it comes to emergencies like this, that is the last place you should want to go because I'm a big fan of Culebra Meat Market. And I went in there and I was by myself and every aisle was fully stocked. Went over there, bought $130 worth of groceries. Now, Pledge, have you ever been to a Culebra Meat Market?
I have never been to Culebra Meat Market, but I'm gonna venture to take a wild guess
Yeah.
on what they were out of when your wife went to HEB.
Oh, well, no, she was just hearing stories from people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on
Because
people on
I'm
Facebook.
venturing to guess they're out of eggs,
Yeah.
milk, water, paper towels, and toilet paper for some reason because we think that, we're just going to go to the bathroom incessantly if we're home all day.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I went over there. I got a couple of loaves of bread. I got a bunch of
bread. Yes.
I got lunch meat. I got avocados. I got fruit. I got tortillas. I got meat. I got all sorts of things, man. Cereal, milk. I mean, I loaded up last night, $130. Now, keep in mind, if I had gone to HEB, that probably would have been $100 or $90, right? You get that markup there. But Culebra Meat Market's basically a little mini grocery store that has like 5 or 6 aisles, and it carries the essentials. I got canned beans, I got chili, I got stuff for hot dogs, stuff like that.
Couple of comments coming in. 80 Singh on our Facebook Live says San Antonio loves to panic buy for sure. 80 Singh,
Yeah.
Texas cheer liquor.
That's right.
That's the one thing I learned not to run out of in an instance like this is just make sure your liquor cabinet is stocked because if you want to stay warm, stay drunk. Ronald Schmidtka says I couldn't use my HEB gift card. To be true, I haven't gotten it yet. I think it's been delayed in the mail because of the snow.
That's funny, man. That's awesome. Last night I also wanted to get in one last workout because, I saw this coming from a mile away. There are some people like Pledge who don't check the weather. It's like you get surprised. You walk outside, it's raining. You walk outside, it's cold. You never check the weather, but I do. And I noticed that it was going to get down to the 20s later, the latter part of the week. And I thought to myself, man, I can't work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I have to move all my workouts to the front of the week. Last night, froze my butt off a little bit at CrossFit, but I'm glad I did it because I had all my workouts for the week.
I actually have gotten back into working out this week.
Very nice.
Finally, I'm healed up and I gave it a go and I haven't felt any twinges or tweaks or discomfort. So I am starting to get back into my routine this week.
Yeah, you were like an athlete, man. Out 4 to 6 weeks.
It was not good.
Coming back in for reconditioning tonight, hitting the gym. But welcome back to halftime. This is a good time. Again, sports, pop culture, nostalgia. We go till 2 o'clock. Everyone be safe on the road. Don't go on the roads if you don't need to be on the roads. You need to be, an essential employee, which is exactly what we are. We are essential. We have to come to the studio.
Mhm.
Do I have to stay here till 4 o'clock in case there's difficulty with the blitz?
I'm not sure, to be honest, but Batella Franklin actually wondering if there's any news about the Spurs game tonight. He has tickets.
You know what? I don't have any internet access right now.
I
So
do, and I have received 0 notification from the Spurs front office. Usually we'll get emails about things.
which is funny because this game is actually a
A makeup.
remake. It's a makeup game from the fact that the Heat didn't have enough players back in I believe it was in December or so because of COVID issues, and so they're remaking this game, and it's at the AT&T Center against the Heat. Spurs coming in off of a miserable loss. Again, you texted me how excited you were that the Spurs lost this game because, again, we want a better draft position over here. And I could not believe it because I had watched 3/4 of that game, and I was like, "Oh, Spurs got this one." I turned it off, and I wake up an hour later to a text message from you saying, "Can't believe they blew it." But the Spurs are 19-33. The the seventh worst record in the NBA. He coming in at 32-20 and are 5.5-point favorites. But the big news involving the Spurs is one particular Spur in DeJounte Murray.
Mhm.
DeJounte Murray will find out most likely tonight whether or not he is going to be an NBA All-Star for the first time. I say most likely because even if he doesn't make it tonight and it isn't named tonight, he could get in as a replacement player. Kind of like CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb is making his first Pro Bowl appearance this weekend as a replacement. But tonight on TNT at 6 p.m., there's going to be a little bit of a special going on, and they're going to name the reserves for the Western Conference All-Stars and Eastern Conference All-Stars. Pledge, how hopeful are you? How optimistic are you that DeJounte makes that list?
50-50.
50-50.
Which is a lot better than where I started.
That's exactly what I was going to say. DeJounte Murray was named a finalist, hasn't been named yet, but a finalist for the Western Conference Player of the Month for January. But I'm taking a look at his stats. Man, his stats improved because back in the day, Pledge,
Mhm.
I say back in the day, this is like a month and a half ago,
Back in the day. Back in my day.
he was averaging 18 points a game. He was averaging 8 rebounds, 8 assists, which is very good.
Mhm.
And it was like, well, he's kind of a fringe all-star at that point. He's doing good. He's on the outside looking in, but he had a big January where he averaged more than 23 points a game, and he was flirting with triple doubles basically every game out there. So I'm going to give you some stats right now.
Mhm.
This is the season stats for DeJounte Murray. His points per game have increased to 19.6 points per game. He is now averaging 9.1 assists, which makes him 4th in the NBA and 2nd in the West. When it comes to rebounding, he averages 8.5, which makes him 24th in the entire NBA. Keep in mind, he's a point guard who is 24th in the NBA in rebounding, 11th in the West, and amongst guards in the West, he is 2nd. And when it comes to steals, he leads the league in steals. So DeJounte Murray is 2nd among guards in rebounds, 2nd in guards among assists, 1st among guards in steals. And he still averages around 20 points per game. He deserves something, man. He really, really does. But the West is loaded, and there's a lot of guards out there. And Andrew Wiggins is taking a spot that probably wouldn't have been given to him. But I think what's going to
I
happen.
don't know if he's taken it. I do think Andrew Wiggins has earned it this year.
He would have been outside looking in. I think he's having a good year. He's missed a lot of games, probably a little bit more than he should have to make the All-Star team. I believe he's missed like 12 or 13 games. But I take a look at it this way. I don't think he would have gotten in as a reserve. I think he would have gotten like an honorable mention. And what I question is whether or not the Western Conference, it used to be the All-Star game where the Western Conference would play the Eastern Conference, and you'd have to actually create a team.
Mhm.
But they don't do that. The two highest vote getters, LeBron representing the West, they basically select players from either conference it's like a pickup game. And because of that, does the West have to go out there and actually field a quote unquote team? Can they go out there and only have 5 bigs and 7 guards? Or can they have 7 bigs and 5 guards? That's what I don't understand.
I think the player, like positionally on each side, is the same. How you draft them, though, is different. Like you can go with a small lineup if you so choose, if you're one of the captains like LeBron or KD, or but I believe the way they're chosen is still based positionally.
Now, there is some hope if he's not named tonight because there have been some injuries out there. LeBron has missed some games. Steph Curry has missed some games, so that might be rest. Uh, you take a look at other players like Draymond Green has missed some games recently because of injuries as well. So it might be one of those things where they are named and then they step back. Maybe they get that honor to be said, you are an all-star, but we know you're not going to play.
Well, and there's also the possibility of players just opting out like they do in the Pro Bowl.
Right. Well, it's not as prevalent in the NBA as it is in the NFL.
But they're like, I need to rest, like my hamstrings tweaked, or they come up with the reason to miss. But for the most part, they're usually taken aback because they are preparing for a second season.
There are usually 2 players that step back for whatever reason, injury or rest or whatever the case may be. So again, the announcement is made tonight at 6:00. If DeJounte is not named, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's getting snubbed. He might get in through the back door. I know that with DeMar DeRozan a couple of years ago, we were hopeful that he was going to make it as an all-star. And then not only did he get snubbed the first time, but a second and third time because he wasn't named as a replacement the first time or the second time. And I was telling people at that time, that was not an all-star caliber season. What DeJounte Murray is doing right now is better than what DeMar ever did with the Spurs.
Speaking of people pulling out of all-star contests, Zach Martin recently, Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
Like the Cowboys, Dak Prescott declined an offer to go, which is why Kirk Cousins is in. So the Cowboys are down to basically CD, Micah, Trayvon, and Brian Anger left as Pro Bowlers.
Let's say that again. Pro Bowler Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Dude, he and Dak have the same stats.
I understand that, but neither one of them deserved it. So I'm sorry. I mean, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady were the 2. Dak wasn't named originally.
So if DeJounte Murray gets in, then you're not giving him credit for being a Pro Bowler? Or an all-star?
What are you talking about?
Like if somebody's like, I can't play because this, and DeJounte Murray goes in.
It's completely different.
How is it completely different? It's the exact same scenario.
No, because when it comes to a quarterback, right? When it comes to a quarterback, there are only 15 in each conference or in each conference, right? And because of that, what you're looking at is starting the 7th or 8th best one there, right? Because if you were to ask me who is the 8th best quarterback in the NFC, that's Kirk Cousins. Who was the 7th or 8th best quarterback in the NFC last year? That's Russell Wilson. That means you're an average quarterback in your conference making an all-star team in the Pro Bowl. When it comes to DeJounte Murray, if DeJounte Murray is named an all-star, he is still maybe considered to be the third best point guard out of 15 that play in the NBA. So he's still top 20 percentile in the NBA, whereas right now in the NFL, you're dipping down in some of these positions to the 50th percentile.
Look,
I got you.
No,
I got you. That,
you didn't get me.
No. Court of law. If you agree with me, reach out to us on Facebook and YouTube. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are also open at 656 ESPN. If DeJounte is a replacement all-star and is an all-star, he is still going to be. You're going to look at the rosters. You got to look at the rosters. How many point guards are out there? 3, 4, right? So he's 3rd or 4th in the NBA or in the Western Conference amongst 15 or 16 teams in the West. That's still top 20, 25%, man.
And Dak was 3rd, 4th in quarterbacks chosen after Brady and Rodgers. And he was the next call.
He was the next call, which is fine. That's fine.
It's the same as DeJounte. It is the exact same hypocritical argument.
It is not, because I'm fine with Dak. What I have an issue with is Kirk Cousins being a Pro Bowler. What I have an issue with is Russell Wilson being a Pro Bowler. I'm fine with Dak. Dak led a team to a division title. Dak led one of the best offenses in the NFL last year. Again, they played bad teams most of the year. But Dak, if you were to say Dak was a Pro Bowler this year, fine. That's absolutely fine. Was he the top 2 or 3 in the NFL, in the NFC? He wasn't. That was obvious. But dipping into Russell Wilson, who had a terrible season last year, Kirk Cousins, who was mediocre last year, just is what it is, man. I mean, to equate Kirk Cousins being a replacement and DeJounte Murray as a replacement, shame on you.
What?
No,
No, it's the exact same scenario.
It is not. Reach out to us. I'm at Mike ESPN SA on Twitter. Pledger is at I am Pledger. When we come back, there's a conspiracy theory that Pledge has involving Brian Flores, who dropped that bombshell lawsuit at the NFL. And I kind of buy into it, Pledge. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
San Antonio Sports Star is headed to LA. Get the latest news, moves, analysis, and world-class roster of guests all week leading up to the game. R&R in the morning, halftime, and the Blitz all live from Los Angeles.
Radio Row, we get to talk to Michael Irvin, but this time it's in person.
Coverage starts Monday morning at 7. Big game coverage powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Exergen would like you to know about an important new study by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has always known. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate, and they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. With new strains of COVID on the rise, we can't afford to tolerate rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Are you stocked up for the big game? Are you stocked up for Super Sunday? If you're not, you need to get over to Texas Cheer Liquor. You need to get over there quick. They got 2 locations on Petranco, one at Highway 90 in Montgomery, and the all-new Texas Cheer Liquor at Palo Alto in the Patron Plaza. And stay tuned. May have a couple more on the way, but beer, wine, liquor, cigars. And if you're really trying to do it big and you're really trying to impress your party goers, they got the 8-gallon and the 16-gallon kegs. Go to TexasCheerLiquor.com and check them out.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same day and next day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Diamonds Direct makes it easy to go over the top this Valentine's with an expanded selection of the most romantic gifts, special designer trunk shows, and the return of our most popular offer ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. Now through Valentine's Day, we've teamed up with the nation's most sought-after designers with a spectacular selection of affordable and timeless gifts. And with 5 years, 0 interest financing, you can go big. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond stud earrings and you pay $50 a month, or a $4,000 diamond tennis bracelet for just $67 a month. It's a fact. Jewelry is the #1 gift for Valentine's, and Diamonds Direct is the #1 destination. We'll help you find the ideal gift at the best price, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Visit us in-store now or shop online for some great romantic gift ideas at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. On approved credit.
We will buy no used car before it's time. We will pay the top money because we know exactly what we're doing at GiveMeTheVin.com. We've bought $1 billion with a B of used cars from you guys in 2021 already because this used car market's on fire. $1 billion in volume. We're paying so much it's scary. Only at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Predict the perfect score and win $50,000.
We want more money.
Presented by Dietz Tractor. Guess now and win at sasportstar.com.
Welcome back. It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. No more. We're on 103.3. Give me the turnover chain, baby. We're coming at you
during the break.
We're coming at you from the QC Kinetic Studios here. A dark and intimate studio here because the lights are out. The generator is on. Hear a little bit of an echo in here, by the way.
I think it's your phone.
Oh my goodness, I'll turn it down.
I'm pretty sure that's where it's coming from. That's better.
There you go. Welcome back to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. You know, it's one of those things where I need to have the internet to do things, and I'm just going to turn this off.
Okay.
I need the internet to do things, and the fact of the matter is that, well, we are in the dark right now. The generator's on, so the lights are on in the hallway. I have a light on in here, but the lights are not on. I have a ring light on to shine over my face and my notes here, but lots to get into in this segment here. So the allegations made a couple of days ago by Brian Flores, former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, the responses are coming back from various teams. The former owner of the Dolphins firing back, John Elway, who's the president of the Denver Broncos, firing back, saying that what Brian Flores is alleging is false. So if you have not been following the story, Brian Flores is a former head coach of the Miami Dolphins who was canned a couple of weeks ago, even though he led a bad team to the playoffs or not to the playoffs, to back-to-back winning seasons, almost to the playoffs this year. He's alleging that he was fired because he refused to lose, that he was fired and that he was offered money under the table to lose more games, $100,000 per loss, in fact. So that being said, you knew that the NFL would respond back. You knew that the Dolphins ownership would have to respond back. And Dolphins owner Stephen Ross came back and called it false and malicious and adds that, quote, "I am a man of honor and integrity, and the truth must be known." Now, keep in mind, the Miami Dolphins are not the only ones that are being sued right now. Also named in the lawsuit are the Denver Broncos and New York Giants, because Brian Flores says that he was basically interviewed in bad faith, that they were only trying to interview him in order to skirt around the Rooney Rule, which requires NFL teams to interview minorities before they, make a decision as to who the head coach is going to be. Now, right now in the NFL, there's only one head coach that is African American, and that's Mike Tomlin with the Steelers. Now, Ron Rivera is a head coach as well. And you take a look at Brian Flores. Brian Flores is from Honduras, and I'm assuming that he has a background that is Hispanic and African as well. Now, John Elway, who's an NFL legend, issued out a statement saying that he interviewed Brian Flores in good faith back in 2019. So he's a little bit insulted by all this.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are coming out and saying, "Hey, you know what? There's an issue here," and a lot of people believe Brian Flores that there's some sort of systematic racism involved when it comes to hiring head coaches in the NFL. Again, we have seen coaches be promoted to head coach in the NFL without experience, and this guy has shown that he can actually lead bad teams to winning seasons. Cliff Kingsbury is a head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, and he had no experience in the NFL, and he was kind of mediocre as a coach in college. There's other coaches out there, Rule in Carolina, who was really good with Baylor as a head coach over there and had some success in college ranks. didn't have much of a resume in the NFL. He had one, but it wasn't as superior to. It wasn't better than what Brian Flores has. But the interesting news from today, besides
can I counter?
Well,
can I counter Brian Flores's
yeah
thing real quick? Because
Yeah.
a lot of this is having to do also with the fact that he found out that Brian Dable was getting the job as he was going into interview for the Giants job.
Well, and that's
right.
That's the whole point of the bad faith thing, because the whole point of the Rooney Rule is to be considered for the job. And if you're going to be offering the job to somebody else and then interview them just to get by a rule, that's an issue. That's an absolute issue. So,
but in just a little bit of context, the Giants also interviewed their own defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, for the head coaching position, who is also being considered in Minnesota before eventually settling on Kevin O'Connell last night, apparently, the Rams offensive coordinator. Patrick Graham is a black defensive coordinator, correct? So I look at it, and what I see is they already interviewed their minority candidate. My thought process going into this, just objectively looking at it, is Brian Dable came in and blew them away. But they still had an interview scheduled with Brian Flores that they were going to uphold. But in this coaching ranks, when you're blown away by somebody, you kind of start to make a decision rather quickly, because his services were also being sought after by that of Miami, who was obviously not going to be in the Brian Flores race. So you have to come to decisions rather quickly because you're competing against other teams for the guy that actually blows you away in an interview.
Now, here's the thing. Brian Dable is a very competent coach. He's a very competent offensive coordinator who worked with Josh Allen and helped him out. And they're hoping that he does the same with the Giants quarterback as well. I get that. And if you're telling me that it's a case-by-case basis, I understand that. But what systematic basically means is that when you look at it in its totality, there's something that is wrong there. Is it possible that the Giants, like you said, got blown away by Brian Dable? Sure. It is very, very, very possible. Is it possible that it was good faith that they were doing? Very possible. But the thing is that the numbers never lie. And the numbers that you see right now is that there's only one African-American head coach in a league that is more than 70% African-American. And Chauncey Billups, head coach in the NBA, former NBA star as well, talked about the fact that he's proud that the NBA doesn't have this issue, because there were 8 head coaching positions that were available this past offseason, and 7 went to African-Americans, and they were primarily former NBA players. Ime Udoka, former assistant coach of the Spurs, being one of them in Boston. The interesting thing about it, though, and Rudy J and I were talking about this yesterday, was that some of the African-American coaches that are being hired now are not being hired for long-term solutions. In fact, they're being hired to lose. Right? I mean, that's the thing. And that hurts his standing, because why did Brian Flores not want to lose? Why did he not do that? He wanted to have a career. It's kind of hard to have a career in the NFL if you lead a team to a 1-15 or a 1-16 season. It's very bad. And in the NFL, there's no lottery. That needs to be changed. There needs to be an NFL lottery, because right now, if you have the worst record, you get the number 1 spot. So I can see an owner who wants them to tank get pissed off, because it is guaranteed. In the NBA, it is not that way. The Spurs could lose every game in the world and still basically only have a 50-50 chance of landing in the top 4. The NBA figured it out, and the NBA has figured it out when it comes to the hiring practice. But I'll just one last thing, though. Chauncey Billups is right that the NBA has figured it out, because, again, the vast majority of players in the NBA are African-American. My counter to Chauncey Billups, though, and the conversation that I heard on R&R in the morning earlier today, is the fact that though 70% of the NFL is African-American, 70% of the stars are not African-American. So in many ways, you take a look at that. Who are the stars? If
100% of the owners.
100% of the owners. But you take a look at who are the biggest stars in the NFL right now. Biggest stars in the NFL right now have been Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, right? Primarily quarterbacks. Now, don't get me wrong, Dak Prescott is a star. And we have Joe
Lamar
Burrow,
Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Well, I don't know if Lamar Jackson, he's
Oh,
exciting.
he is a superstar.
He's a star, but I don't think he's a superstar because he doesn't have as many victories. Kind of like at the same level as Dak Prescott. But Dak Prescott is the quarterback of America's team, which puts him to superstar status. So it's kind of one of those things.
But Lamar Jackson has an MVP and playoff wins and things that equate to his name being. I mean, he's Madden covers.
I'll grant you that. But at the fact of the matter is that it's not 70%. The biggest stars in the NFL are probably 50% non-African American, right? Just is what it is. I don't think that makes it difficult for the league to hire minorities. But I think what it does, though, is that it lends to the lens. It gives people the excuse to use stereotypes against people, kind of like back in the day when the stereotype was you could not have an African American quarterback because they can't lead a team, they can't understand the playbook, they can't be leaders.
I do think the Rooney Rule, while in its intentions are great, has an adverse effect in terms of what happens, because people are, especially people at Fortune 500 companies, which essentially these NFL owners are. They are Fortune 5 companies, so they're going to hire people and put them in place and work with people that they feel comfortable working with. Correct?
Well,
in terms of and in terms of just seeing eye to eye on the same goal and the same way it needs to be achieved. And reports with Brian Flores, especially reports of most people coming out of the New England Patriot tree in general, Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, anyone who's come out of that tree, become very hard to work with, right?
One of the
and they have their own perception of how to do things that may not align with whether it's the GM or the owner or whatever the rest of the groups are. And that's always usually a tough thing to come together with, is everybody has to have kind of the same vision on that upper level in terms of the way the franchise should be going.
Who you're comfortable with, I'm sorry, Pledge, is a cop-out. It's a complete cop-out.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
I'm going to tell you why, and this is also for Fortune 500 companies as well.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but on top of that,
I was sales manager of the year for Lincoln Financial Group in 2019, nationwide sales manager of the year. I was the only brown guy at the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I made mention of that when I got my award. Okay, I wasn't like adamant about it, but I just said, kind of interesting that the only brown guy here got this award, right? And I thank the people at my office, Robert Canali, and what he has done for me and my career in my gig doing that. He's a fantastic man, and I'm glad that he took the chance on me. It's amazing. I'm glad that he did. I was very successful, and I hope to continue to be. But it takes somebody to hire somebody and read the room.
Yes.
Okay. He hired me in San Antonio. San Antonio is more than 50% Hispanic, right? So he needed to read the room that maybe I'm a good option for the organization. And that's the thing. My daughter's in college right now. She's at LSU. One of the great things about her going out of state and being at LSU is because she's meeting people that she would never have met here in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
She's meeting people from the South, from the Northeast, from different political points of views. Some people who are gay, some people who are straight, some people who came from broken homes, some all of that. And because of that, she's going to be better in life because of that. But when it comes to these owners saying that they want to work with somebody who they're comfortable with, that's a dog whistle, dude.
Not comfortable. See the same vision in terms of
that's nonsense. Because
but here's the thing,
and
this is where I think the Rooney Rule is a little bit of a detriment, because what's going to be the stigma that follows if look at Eric Bieniemy. He's interviewed multiple times for multiple jobs and has not gotten one yet.
Right.
And he is one of the hottest coordinators.
He's a bad interview, dude. He's a bad.
Exactly.
That right there's a dog whistle. That's a dog whistle.
No. But that's my point of why the Rooney Rule while good in its intentions, may have an adverse effect, is that people see them interviewing for all these jobs and not getting them. So the common conception becomes, well, it's a bad interview. He's not doing well in the interviews.
The enemy has scoreboard.
Exactly.
Brian Flores has scoreboard. Okay. And this whole vision and all that stuff, all of that, I hear that's a dog whistle. And for those of you who don't know what a dog whistle is, and I'm not saying that this is what how you feel. You are echoing. You're echoing what you hear, right? The statements that you read from these owners and whatnot. I'm not saying that that's what you believe, but whenever I hear they don't interview well, or they don't share the same vision, and I hear that stuff, that's a dog whistle for didn't want to hire a minority. That's what I hear. Okay. But on the other side, I know we're coming up on a break. Brian Flores was named a finalist of a head coaching gig. We're going to talk about that on the other side. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
The Bengals and the Rams are headed to LA for the big game. We've got you covered all week long, live from Los Angeles. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
National Signing Day was a big day for Texas A&M as they added five-star defensive end Shamar Stewart and third-ranked safety Jacoby Matthews to what is considered to be the number one ranked recruiting class in the country. Last night, the Houston Rockets defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 115-104. Christian Wood and Jalen Green both had 21 points to get their Rockets their 15th win of the season. In Dallas last night, the Mavericks lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder 120-114 in overtime. Luka Doncic's 40 points and 10 assists weren't enough to get Dallas the win. And tonight at the AT&T Center, the Miami Heat will be hosted by the San Antonio Spurs with a tip-off set for 7:30. This is a rescheduled matchup between the two teams after being postponed on December 29th when Miami couldn't meet active player requirements. I'm Carl Schoening.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
So I used the savings from switching to Progressive 30 years ago to buy tickets to the championship game. You know, between those two teams that didn't exist 30 years ago. Yeah, I'm a big Alaska Palm Trees fan, which is a team now in the future.
So switch to Progressive and save big because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using GetUpside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the GetUpside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free GetUpside app now.
Download the free GetUpside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for 25 cents a gallon or more cash back on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free GetUpside app and use promo code GEAR to earn 25 cents a gallon or more on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can now get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again, with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joints, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call QC Kinetics now at 210-571-0318 and wake up to a life without pain. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills.
When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. If you're having to rework your office, let Hill Electric design your socially distanced space to ensure each workstation has the proper electrical needs. For over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. There is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074, or go to hill-electric.com. Before we rodeo San Antonio, mosey on over to Dietz Tractor. We're busting out of the chutes early with a stock full of LS tractors. And this is no 8-second ride. Take your time and choose from a field that includes compact and utility tractors at low prices. Excel in your field with LS Tractor, 7-time winner of the EDA Dealer's Choice Award. Backed by a limited 6-year warranty, LS Tractors will give you more standard features and more performance for less money. These are some of the hottest tractors around, and Dietz Tractor wants to sell them to you today at unbelievable prices. Dietz Tractor, where you get more tractor for less.
We're following the Bengals and Rams all the way to LA. Live all week leading up to the big game. Coverage starts Monday morning at 7. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
This is Jason Minnick. You're listening to San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM, on the go at sasportstar.com. If you're following along on Facebook or YouTube, you may have noticed something. The lights are back on, baby.
Check cleared.
Gabriel Chacon reaching out saying the check cleared. Joanne Tomko reaching out on Facebook Live, wanting to know why Pledge took off his jacket as soon as the lights went back on.
Heater kicked on. I mean, there are certain things that are controlled that were on, and certain things, I guess, deemed not important as, keeping the radio station going.
This has been a fun show. We were in the dark the first 45 minutes of this show because the lights went out. Generator kicked back on, but the lights were only on in the hallway, but not the studios. Interesting thing, man. We've had a very spirited debate today on lots of topics. Earlier, Pledge called DeJounte Murray the Kirk Cousins of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You're standing by that. You're so sad.
Why?
You didn't say it that way, but that's how I interpreted it.
I know how you're interpreting it, but it's the exact same scenario, so I don't see how you don't get the correlation.
Okay, we'll get back into that in the 1 o'clock hour, and we'll be talking about the movie Groundhog Day on the 1 o'clock hours too to start the second hour.
Oh, poor Puck's tummy, Phil.
But it was interesting because you and I have really good conversations sometimes during commercial breaks, and you have a conspiracy theory involving Brian Flores, who is suing the NFL, the New York Giants, the Denver Broncos, and the Miami Dolphins for discrimination, alleged discrimination. You have a theory because he was named reportedly a finalist for a head coaching gig of the Houston Texans, Pledge's team. And the first thing out of your mouth was what?
Oh, this is my deep, dark conspiracy theory. I have an idea of A, why he's a finalist, and B, if he gets hired. So he is a finalist along with Josh McCown, who
has no experience.
But he's white.
He has that experience.
He has the white experience.
Yeah, he started on third base. He's almost home.
Jonathan Gannon, who was the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, first year as a coordinator, so very young in the game as well, but has at least been a coach for a long time.
Yeah.
And Brian Flores, who does have head coaching experience and very good head coaching experience. He also has ties with Nick Caserio, the general manager there.
Back in his days with the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. So I could see how the vision may align.
All right,
them.
so
there's your dog whistle word.
So there you go. So connect the dots as to what this means for one Deshaun Watson.
Oh, there it is. All right. So my conspiracy theory is Texans look at the NFL and go, "We got you if you got us." And so they bring on Brian Flores. Brian Flores is the guy they kind of wanted anyway. They get him in the building. He becomes the head coach of the Houston Texans, and the NFL decides and voices to the rest of the 31 other teams, look, unless there is an actual criminal charge levied against Deshaun Watson, we're not going to do anything.
Boom. Conspiracy theory 101.
Allows them to move him. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
And here's the thing. If Brian Flores is in fact hired by the Houston Texans, means nothing for the lawsuit because they weren't named in the lawsuit. Just because you get a job someplace else doesn't necessarily mean that you weren't screwed over at the place that you sued. Okay. But I can see how, from a PR standpoint, that would be a good thing for the NFL. And all of this is happening. This is overshadowing Tom Brady's retirement.
Yes.
This is all overshadowing
the Super
Bowl. I mean, we're, me and Minix and Reinagel and Rudy J and Rob, we're going to LA for Super Bowl coverage there, right? Media week or Super Bowl week or whatever you want to call it. Rodeo Row. Don't even know what to call it, but all I know is I've got a ticket. I'll be there. You will be doing this show with Carl, correct? All of next week.
Yep.
Take care of the baby.
Including we're gonna take it out for a spin. We're gonna be at Twin Peaks next Friday.
Nice. Can I call in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
You're gonna have equipment. You can just dial in on the tie line and we'll pot you up as long as there's not something going on.
Very nice, man. We need to revisit you calling DeJounte Murray the Kirk Cousins of the NBA in the next hour. You didn't say it in those words, but that's how I took it. Well, I want to do some math for you as to why what I said and what you're saying is not the same thing, dude.
You know what they say?
What's that?
I can find a statistic to back any argument that I want to make.
Again, we're bringing up DeJounte Murray because tonight at 6:00, the NBA announces who's going to be the reserves for the Western Conference and Eastern Conference when it comes to the NBA All-Star Game. Don't know why I'm holding a big old thing of jelly right now, but I brought peanut butter and jelly here just in case I'm trapped here with you for the next 24 to 48 hours. We have another hour of halftime to go here on San Antonio Sports Star. When we come back, we're going to talk about Bill Murray and the movie Groundhog Day because it is Groundhog's Day. I have no idea if Punxsutawney Phil actually saw a shadow, but I'll be looking that up in the break. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Roll home with Joe Reinagel and Jason Minix.
At Joe Kens 5, at Jason Minix, at SA Sports Star, or you can also do it on Instagram. Now, Reinegel's Instagram is different. It's Joe Reinagel _ Kens 5.
For another month.
And then it's going to be Joe Star.
That's good.
There might be some porn dude that's already stolen that one.
That might be, right?
The Blitz, weekday afternoons at 4. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Hey, team, it's a full house. We got to pick up the pace.
At Hank's Restaurant, the line goes around the block.
Is this for 12? Okay, I need the truffle oil drizzle.
What he needs is another line cook.
Oh, man. Are the quail breasts still in the sous vide? Dave, can you keep an eye on that, please?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Diamonds Direct makes it easy to go over the top this Valentine's with an expanded selection of the most romantic gifts, special designer trunk shows, and the return of our most popular offer ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. Now through Valentine's Day, we've teamed up with the nation's most sought-after designers with a spectacular selection of affordable and timeless gifts. And with 5 years, 0 interest financing, you can go big. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond stud earrings and you pay $50 a month, or a $4,000 diamond tennis bracelet for just $67 a month. It's a fact. Jewelry is the #1 gift for Valentine's, and Diamonds Direct is the #1 destination. We'll help you find the ideal gift at the best price, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Visit us in-store now or shop online for some great romantic gift ideas at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. On approved credit.
Now an important message from Exergen.
A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Get some green, cash, money when you bring us your old or used Kubota equipment. That's dinero in your pocket. Or trade in for a brand new Kubota compact tractor, Kubota construction equipment, or whatever else you might have on your Kubota wish list. Breaking up is hard to do, but we're talking green, baby. So don't miss out on the Ewald Kubota Trade Orange for Green cash offer going on now. From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
Hey, San Antonio Sports Star listeners, this is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Thanks to fans like you, you can now buy Kielbasa products just about everywhere. We hope you continue to enjoy our handcrafted, small batch smoked meats because we sure enjoy making them for you. So grab some today and let me know what you think. My number's on the back of every pack. Right by my promise that if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
From the QC Kinetic Studio.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Michael Jimenez.
Halftime.
It's hour number 2 of halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. On the go at sasportsstar.com. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. You can follow along. Just search San Antonio Sports Star, like and subscribe. The lights are back on. The first 45 minutes of the show, we were in the dark. I'm assuming it's because of the weather. But having a good time over here with James Pledger. What's going on, brother?
What's happening, Mike?
Oh, man, I'm having a good time over here, just following along, kind of just ad-libbing through this show because normally we get here and have about an hour and a half to prep for the show, get things going. But today we didn't have any of that because the lights went out. But you were telling me during the break that Punxsutawney Phil died. It's Groundhog's Day. February 2nd is Groundhog's Day. We get to find out whether or not there's going to be more winter or 6 more weeks of winter or not. And you're telling me during the break that the actual groundhog that they use in Pennsylvania died? What happened?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, so apparently that groundhog is named Milltown Mel and died 2 days before the event. And I'm reading an article right now saying that they had to find a replacement rodent. So they
no sugarcoating. We had to find a replacement rodent.
Yeah, so they found the Kirk Cousins of rodents.
The DeJounte Murray
of rodents, the replacement all-star here. And yeah, they checked them out, and apparently the replacement rodent saw its shadow, which means 6 more weeks of winter. And we're already feeling that, like we didn't know this already, right? We're seeing this right now. We're seeing this right now because the roadways right now are very cold. It's going to get down into the mid-20s here in San Antonio tonight. It's going to be even colder in the hill country. So we're already experiencing this, but man, stay off the roads if you do not need to be on the road. At 1:55, when this show is over, I'm going to be in my car already going home. And I will stay home.
Be with your
it's
family.
safe. Yeah.
And if tomorrow's bad, it is real easy for me to throw on whatever's national at 12 to 2. I don't even know.
My wife Selena's over at University Hospital right now. She also took an extra pair of clothes and a bag just in case. And I'm there thinking to myself, no, You get off work at 5 o'clock. It'll be 35 degrees. Come home.
No, it won't.
No.
Have you seen the extended forecast?
Well, it's supposed to get really, really cold, like below freezing around 7 or 8 p.m.
That's in the 20s. Right now, we're below freezing as it is.
Are we right now? Dude, we're gonna
I rolled in, it was 30. Like it was 33 when I woke up at 6:40. It was 28 when I got in my car at 9:30.
My kids are with grandma right now, which means slumber party. I mean, we're in here, it's warm.
We found out the TV won't go away.
I know the TV, I mean, even when the lights went out, the TV was still on. There's a convenience store right across the street. We're over here on Eisenhower Road. I'm sure somebody would like to send us food, maybe drop off a casserole, just something. But
Caldo?
oh, that's amazing. Yes.
Is that what you have on days like today?
Yes.
Is that
when it's cold?
Okay.
Yes. I
don't know. I'm asking.
I am pro caldo. I am anti menudo.
Now,
Menudo is disgusting.
Isn't that just kind of whatever's left over in that menudo?
Menudo has hominy in it. I know that. And if you ask me what hominy is, I don't know. I mean, if you told me it was a vegetable, you told me it was a spice, I don't know what hominy is. I know that it's in there. And menudo is an acquired taste, unlike me, because I'm an acquired taste that you'll get to like over time because I'm typically a nice guy. Menudo is an acquired taste in the sense that, ugh.
What's in caldo?
I don't know.
No.
Is it tripe?
I don't even know what these words you're using are.
Now, caldo has, meat in it with potatoes and vegetables and
Okay.
whatnot. It's delicious.
So it's like a stew.
It is like the father of tortilla soup. It's like the father of chicken soup.
I love tortilla soup.
Tortilla soup's great. Okay, so it's in that same family over there. Whereas menudo, I'm sorry, I know I'm losing Mexican points, losing West Side points as we speak, and probably some South Side points.
When haven't you on this show?
I am who I am. I'm an acquired taste, according to some of the listeners. I mean, we had that promo going on. We had a couple of people calling in, called me the acquired taste because it's like, am I gonna like this guy or not? And then you eventually do. Because I grow on you.
He's the acquired hypocrite.
Oh, dude. Yes, I'm the acquired Skip, according to you as well.
Oh, yeah, Skip Bayless.
But,
Skip Jimenez.
We talk about sports, pop culture, and nostalgia on halftime. And the thing about it is that it's Groundhog Day. So we need to talk about that movie. The classic, I believe it was from 94, involving Bill Murray. And I put out a poll on Twitter asking people what they thought.
Let me see how that's going.
Yeah, what is the latest and greatest when it comes to that? Because last I saw, I told people that I rated that movie an A+. I'm not saying that Groundhog Day is one of my favorite movies of all time, like top 5 or top 10, but it's probably, I would put Groundhog Day in my top 50. I love that movie. Look at that. 53.8% of people who've responded have said an A. Oh my God, you have a check mark there because you voted B? You gave Groundhog Day a B?
The station did.
So who's that, Carl?
Rob?
Coming in at 17% as a B, 15% saying C, and 14% of the people who
There's a lot of people that have access to this here at the station.
Okay. So they gave him a D or F. And I'm going to tell you what, I honestly don't believe that they believe it's a D or an F. They're coming back at me because I gave an F to the Warriors.
It's your first F.
It was my first F. And my wife gave it the same letter grade. So that is a family decision right there on that grade.
I should have given it a C because that's what you gave Tombstone.
But Groundhog Day, it's one of the most important movies of the last 30 years. Now, keep in mind, I didn't say it's one of the greatest movies of the last 30 years. It's one of the most important movies because they actually teach college classes about this movie and like the philosophy behind it because of what Phil Connors has to go through to make himself a better person. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's about a guy who wakes up every day. He's a TV weather guy.
Mhm.
And he wakes up every day on Groundhog Day, and the day just repeats itself. And he ends up in this small town covering the Punxsutawney Phil. And what he ends up doing is that he gets to know about everybody in that town, and he gets to know all about them. And he's a bad person who's learning life skills. He tries to kill himself, but still wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
And the question became, how long was he in that purgatory state? And mathematically, there was a lot of people think that he was probably there for over 1,000 years. How else do you know everybody and know what everything's going to happen and learn to play piano and learn how to do all sorts of things. It takes years, but it's a great, great movie. I'm a big fan of it. And the question came out. Someone asked me on Twitter, "Who is this a top 5 Bill Murray movie?"
Yeah.
I think that it is, but let's go through some of the candidates, okay? Caddyshack.
1, A, with a bullet.
Okay. Ghostbusters.
B, 2.
Scrooged.
5?
What About Bob?
Oh, I forgot about What About Bob. 4.
Lost in Translation.
It's a really good movie. Not my
One
top
of them
5.
one of them needs to be kicked out. I would go ahead and assume that the one that gets kicked out is What About Bob, though it is a good movie.
It's a great movie.
From what I remember about it.
Him and Richard Dreyfuss.
Now I'm a big fan of Bill Murray. I mean, Stripes. Stripes is a very, very good bad movie.
It's a great movie,
but it's also really bad. But I enjoy it. I think that's what people thought that I was going to get when it came to the Warriors. They thought that I was going to think that it was a really good bad movie, but it wasn't. It was a really bad movie. That was worthy of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Man, that I would have loved. Any good comments coming in?
A couple. Frank Valdez says, "What About Bob's Fire?" It's his #1 movie. Robert Salazar says, "If Mike was in the Warriors movie, he would have been in the Gang or the Orphans or the Lizzies."
You know, the Orphans, they were not privileged enough to go to the summit, the Gang summit. You know, they weren't hip enough. They weren't taken as seriously. So proof that I watched this movie, that I know who the Orphans are. And I know who the Lizzies are. The Lizzies try to seduce the Warriors and end up shooting at them, and I think hit 2 of them. So, yeah, I'm sorry.
People saying the fact that you didn't say Stripes first is flawed. Come on, man. Caddyshack is one of his most iconic roles.
And you know what? I would, man. Let's rank them. So your top 5 is what? Give me your 5.
All right, I'm gonna go Caddyshack, Ghostbusters. What About Bob? Stripes.
You already went 5. Where's Groundhog Day?
It's not there.
Oh, breaking news. Breaking news.
And that's only 4.
I'm going to go ahead and say number 1's Ghostbusters.
My fifth would be Zombieland.
We'll talk about that in a second. Ghostbusters 1 for me. I have Caddyshack as 2. I have Groundhog Day as 3. Stripes as 4, and I'll say Lost in Translation as 5. And I do have I have a love and affection for the movie Scrooged, especially during the holiday season. Obviously, it's a Christmas type of movie, but Scrooge really tugs at the heart. I like that movie. But you mentioned Zombieland, and during the commercial break, we were talking about these movies a little bit, and you were talking about that. And I asked the question: can you have a movie be considered one of your 5 best if you are only in it for a scene or 2? If you steal a scene, is Wedding Crashers a Will Ferrell movie because Will Ferrell's in there screaming, "Mom, meatloaf"?
Yes, it's a Will Ferrell movie because he is in it, and it's some of his best work.
Is Tropic Thunder a Tom Cruise movie because at the end it's revealed that he is the agent?
No, I don't. To be honest, I forget Tom Cruise is even in that movie.
But it was the big surprise.
It was, but
and again,
I think of it as a Robert Downey Jr. movie, as a Ben Stiller movie, as
but you somehow think Will Ferrell is a Wedding Crashers movie?
Yes, because he's one of the most memorable parts of the movie.
Dude, Tom Cruise was in this movie and he was funny, dude.
I completely forgot he was in that movie.
The Bill Hader scenes, I mean, they were funny.
I completely forgot he was in it.
Okay. Interesting, but the Zombieland's a good movie.
Zombieland's a fantastic movie, and I love him playing himself in that movie, even though it's for such a small portion of the movie. It's just some of his best work.
You know, it's funny, you were mentioning that I look like the Blair Witch Project right now because typically I have an iPad.
Do you consider Will Ferrell, Zoolander a Will Ferrell movie? Because it's technically a Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson movie.
Yeah, but he's a big enough of a character in that movie as Mugatu to I had to think about that, but Mugatu, and he's also throughout the movie in there. He's in the beginning of the. I mean, he's the first scene of the movie, talking about how they needed to have someone assassinate the prime minister of Malaysia. God, I can't believe I remember that. And then it goes all
How
the way.
can you not remember that?
Micronesia. What is this? A center for ants? Is Zoolander a good movie? Reach out to us on Facebook or YouTube.
How are we going to put the kids in school? It's too small. The files are in the computer?
I gotta go give the googly at the funeral.
Lost in Translation is a drama, so get it out of the comedy category. It's not a comedy category.
It's a Bill Murray
yeah,
category.
It's a Bill Murray. Like, do you consider it a top 5 Bill Murray movie?
Which is funny because talk about Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is known for, The Mask, and he's known for Ace Ventura and all of these comedies. He's, and also the TV shows In Living Color. But his greatest movie of all time, his greatest work of all time is The Truman Show, which is not a comedy.
So great.
Which is not a comedy. And Rudy J, we were talking about The Truman Show. He's never seen it.
Really?
He comes here and does the movie reviews with me on Wednesdays, and he likes to react. I want Rudy J in 2 weeks when we come back to town to give a Truman Show review.
I do too.
I watched it again for the 100th time about a week ago. It is great every time. My wife, though, does not like the movie. She falls asleep at it.
I love Truman Show. I think it's a fantastic movie. It is so out of what we're used to seeing from Jim Carrey at the time when we got it. But it also showed his diversity in his acting ability, because I thought the concept of the show was phenomenal.
He won the Golden Globe for Best Acting in that movie. Did not even get a nomination for the Academy Awards. Okay, if he had been nominated, did not win, it'd be like, well, okay, well, he at least got nominated, but didn't get a nomination.
I have a question. As long as we're talking about Jim Carrey, what is your favorite In Living Color Jim Carrey skit?
Oh, Fire Marshal Bill. I mean, that's what he's best known for.
To me, I know he's best known for it.
Yeah.
And Elvira, the female bodybuilder that's on steroids, and he's got a bunch. But to me, my favorite was always the camera shy guy, the dude that's just in the background,
That reminds me of Jason Sudeikis back in the SNL days, Saturday Night Live, when he would do the dancing in the background.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, who's that dancing? And then you'd be like, is that Jason Sudeikis? Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
That was so amazing, man. But, it's funny when people go outside the box. He did not get nominated for an Oscar that year. Ray Romano, Everybody Loves Raymond, was incredible in a movie called The Big Sick.
Oh,
and
yeah.
should have been nominated for something on that. Holly Hunter, I believe, is that movie as well. She should have been nominated for something on that. I mean, that movie ended up winning an Academy Award as well. But from an acting standpoint, those two were excellent in that movie. And Ray Romano in a dramatic role, again, he doesn't get that love because he's a comedian. Comedians get no love, but they're the most versatile people out there in Hollywood because they can act, they can do comedy, they can do drama, they can do action. But you ask a dramatic actor to do comedy, they can't do it. They're one dimensional. But man, comedians out there these days, the Chris Rocks, the Kevin Harts, these are Swiss Army knife type of people, type of performers.
I'm getting called out by your Tuesdays with Teague colleague.
Yeah.
Apparently, have you seen my latest Instagram story?
No.
So I was feeling myself yesterday with the vibe, with the bow tie and everything.
Yeah.
And
I did see that.
And one of my favorite looks is it all put together with the trench coat and everything, looking great. But then at the end, roll up the sleeves, undo the tie, suspenders. It's just a clean look either way, up or down, however you dress it. And I was feeling it yesterday. So, I posted a video of one of my favorite things about the versatility of the outfit.
Right.
And Caroline Teague's like, thirst trap. I was like, that is not a thirst trap. That is just a vibe / outfit of the day.
No, it was beyond a thirst trap. It was thirst trappy. And by the way, if you want to hang out with me and Pledge, we still have plans, even though it's going to be 20 degrees. Still have plans to go to North Star Mall and go shopping because I need clothes for California. But we'll be out there hopefully around 11 or 12 o'clock if the roads are nice. But
Alexander Muschetti on our Facebook Live says Stripes 1, Ghostbusters 2, Meatballs 3, Groundhog Day 4, 5, Caddyshack.
I don't mind that. That's actually a very good makeup there. But the thing is that when it comes to like what his greatest roles are going to be, he will be best known for Groundhog Day and Ghostbusters. That's what he's going to be known for. Stripes is going to be an afterthought. Lost in Translation will be an afterthought as well. Hey, but tonight it's a big night for DeJounte Murray of the Spurs. I mean, yes, there's a game tonight. The Spurs take on the Heat. We still don't know if the game's still going on. We're assuming that it is. So few people are going to the game so that if there is a game pledge, we won't know if people were prevented from going because of the weather because it's been half empty most of the year. At least it looks that way on TV. But tonight at 6 o'clock before tip-off, which is at 7:30, DeJounte Murray finds out whether or not he's named an all-star to the all-star team as a backup, I guess you could say. The starters were already named. The reserves are being named today for both the Western Conference and Eastern Conference. Pledge has it at 50-50 chance. I have it as a 50-50 chance. I think he gets in as replacement, though.
Which, by the way, for me, that is a big step forward from where I thought he was when the All-Star voting first came out.
Yeah.
When we first started,
You said 20% at that point.
Yeah. So I've come up a long way in my thoughts of whether he's an all-star or not. And I do believe he can be. And I kind of think he should be.
I wonder what's going to happen with the Phoenix Suns players. Are both Devin Booker and Chris Paul going to make it? Last year, Chris Paul made it. Devin Booker was left out. Booker is not going to be left out this year. He averages too many points. And the question became, was Chris Paul named to the All-Star team last year as a, kind of just like an honorary thing for his whole career? That's the reason why, because he wasn't one of the best players at that point last year. He wasn't one of the 4 or 5 best guards at that point. Now, he ended the season that way, but at that point, he wasn't. Was it a career thing? But, man, I'm very, very hopeful on DeJounte. Going to be honest with you, what I think is going to happen is that we're going to have a lot of very disappointed Spurs fans tonight that DeJounte Murray is not named to the team. But I think they'll be very happy within about 48 hours when he gets named as a replacement player. That's what I think is going to happen because Draymond might not make it.
Do you think that he is not named tonight, but someone pulls out and therefore he's the next call?
That's my prediction. Now, don't get me wrong. I want him to make the All-Star team, and I think it's very possible that he does.
So he's going to be the Kirk Cousins of the NBA All-Star game.
No. Please stop saying that, man. Because there's a difference in replacements between the NFL and the NBA.
How?
Because right now, if you were to say that it was a decision between Donovan Mitchell and DeJounte Murray for the 12th spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very conceivable, possible thing that could happen. Or it was between him and Anthony Edwards, right? They are peers. They are 1 and 2 next to each other. But there's no way that you can say that Tom Brady and Kirk Cousins are the same caliber.
So they took 2 in the starting lineup, 2 guards, right? Steph and Luke. One Luka.
It wasn't Luka. I wish I could look at my phone right now, but it was valid though. It was valid.
But there were 2 starters and the rest were forwards, right?
Right.
So the backup guards probably Luka Doncic,
Devin
Booker, and either Chris Paul.
I think John
or
Morant.
Donovan
I think John
Edwards.
Morant
John Morant was the other starter. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So we look at it, and let's say there's 2 starters, right?
Right.
And then there's 3 backups.
There might be 4.
Maybe 4. And then one of them drops out, and all of a sudden DeJounte's called in, right?
Right.
How is that any different from there's 1 starting quarterback, 2, you get a backup. So is Tom Brady and who else in the NFC? It was Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And then they pull out due to injuries, and then Matt Stafford, but he's going to the Super Bowl, so he has to come out, and all of a sudden it's Dak Prescott. He's resting an injury, so now it's Kirk Cousins. We're
Okay.
talking about 5 quarterbacks. It's the same amount of guards.
Okay, no, it's completely different.
It's not.
It's completely different.
It's the same amount that you have to go through.
Because there are 15 quarterbacks in the NFC right now. They had
Well, there's more than that. There's 15
starters. 15 starters. Okay. When it comes, so I'm glad that we use that. Let's talk about starters. Okay. So you have 15 starters out there, and they named Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Kyler Murray to the Pro Bowl.
Okay.
Right. That's the top 3.
So 3. There's another one.
And then they had Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then they had Dak Prescott. Then they had Russell Wilson. And then they had Kirk Cousins. Right. So Kirk Cousins is 6th out of 15, which makes him 40 percentile of starters.
There are less teams in the NBA, so
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because let's go that there's 30 guards that are starting, right? Because there's 15 teams.
Less. There are less teams in the NBA.
There's not 24 teams.
There's 30.
Okay, right.
There's 2 less teams.
Okay, so
half of
6 out of 16 puts him at around a 35 percentile. That's Kirk Cousins. Okay. In the NBA, if there are 15 teams, that means that they have 2 guards. That's 30 guards, right?
Versus 16 quarterbacks,
right? Oh, well, just go with me. Let me finish my thought. If there are 30 guards that are starting, and he is ranked 5th or 6th, he's in the top 20 percentile of the guards in the NBA, 20 percentile of the West. To equate him with Kirk Cousins being 6th out of 15. And be in the 40 percentile. And by the way, some of these quarterbacks aren't really, I mean, they're not really even really quarterbacks out there because, was Taysom Hill really a quarterback? Was Ian Book really a quarterback? Right. So that being said, if he is a replacement player, it's a bigger honor than Kirk Cousins. That is slander, man. That is big time slander. When it comes to it all, the cream of the crop goes to the All-Star team in the NBA. The NFL Pro Bowl is a joke. The game is this weekend. I will not watch 1 minute of it because it's a joke.
True or false? Kirk Cousins has led his team to more playoff appearances than DeJounte Murray.
It's not a career achievement award. It's not a career achievement award. What does that have to do with anything?
What? I'm just saying. Kirk Cousins has been closer to the league leader in passing yards than DeJounte Murray has in points among guards.
Oh my God, we're gonna bookend this by quoting Mugatu. It's like I'm drinking crazy pills here talking to you about this. Oh my goodness. You know what? Let's talk a little bit more pop culture on the other side. Good God, that's like none of what you said made sense. And I'm over here talking to you. You're completely disrespecting DeJounte Murray. I'm standing up for DeJounte Murray when it comes to this. You are completely just calling him the Kirk Cousins of the NBA. That is not right, man. This dude is one of the best point guards in the league, man. He is arguably the 3rd best point guard in the West right now. He may not be the 3rd most popular, but he's the 3rd best. But you know what? We're gonna Gary's on line 1. We'll get to him in a second. We'll get to him on the other side. We have to go to a break here. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. We're going to talk more about this. ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
San Antonio Sports Star is headed to LA. Get the latest news, moves, analysis, and world-class roster of guests all week leading up to the game.
To the next episode.
R&R in the morning, halftime, and the Blitz all live from Los Angeles.
Joining us now, the Moves, Daryl Johnston. We get to talk to Michael DeMarcus Ware. Joining us now.
Coverage starts Monday morning at 7. Big game coverage powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can now get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again, with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joints, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call QC Kinetics now at 210-571-0318 and wake up to a life without pain. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills.
Jason Minix here for Garageanization. You've heard me tell you about their shelving, overhead racks, and storage systems to make your garage functional for the entire family. If you have issues with your garage, call 210-664-4494. Have them come out and give you a free consultation. Garageanization couldn't be a better choice. A veteran family-owned and operated business for more than a decade. Give them a call at 210-664-4494 or go to the website garageorganizationsanantonio.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
So yeah, I used the savings from switching to Progressive 50 years ago to finally buy my dream car. It's a self-driving flying car, but we just say self-flying now. You know, because it's the future, and cars fly in the future.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Water stains on the shower glass. Try rubbing some shaving cream on them.
Tyler's cleaning crew knows every housekeeping trick in the book.
Handling timesheets now.
But they need a proper bookkeeper to keep finances tidy.
New equipment is a business expense, right?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Here in Texas, the heat is relentless. The storms are serious. The hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Hi, I'm Joe Reinagle. You know, your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They're reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate. 210-785-0994 or go online at stevensroofing.net.
If you've received notices from the IRS, don't panic. Get an ally. An ally in your court will protect your credit and the assets you've worked so hard to build and maintain. The IRS can be intimidating, so don't try to fight them alone. Allies Tax Relief will investigate your case and recommend the best resolution possible. Call Allies Tax Relief at 800-230-5174. They'll protect you from levies, liens, audits, and even wage garnishments. The tax attorneys at Allies Tax Relief know exactly what to do. Are you strapped for cash? Their consultation is free. When the IRS comes knocking, you'd better answer or they'll make things worse. With an ally on your side, you're protected. Don't get pressured into filing for bankruptcy or signing some unknown contract. Allies Tax Relief will review your case and any proposal for free, like they've done for so many other taxpayers. With no cash up front, Allies could save you thousands of dollars, protect your hard-earned assets, and help maintain your good credit. Call 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
It's halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Welcome back to halftime, live from the QC Kinetic Studios here in San Antonio. You know what I call that, Pledge? That music right there? That is rock music right there. Duran Duran. It is new wave. But Duran Duran, one of the nominees for the 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're going to debate some of these nominees in a moment. But Gary's on line one. What's going on, Gary?
You were saying that y'all were saying that the Pro Bowl is a joke.
Whoa. Y'all's too many people.
Okay, well, it was said that the Pro Bowl is a joke to a certain degree, but it's a fan's dream. You get to see dream matchups like Aaron Rodgers throw the ball to DK Metcalf. I mean, you know what I mean? Imagine your favorite team. Who would you like to see Dak Prescott throwing the ball to, or the quarterback of the Texans throwing the ball to? You know what I'm saying? This is when you get that chance to possibly see that.
No, I agree with you, Gary. Here's the thing. The Pro Bowl was not a joke years ago because the actual Pro Bowlers went. But what's happening right now is they get honored by being named to the Pro Bowl, but then they don't go. You mentioned Aaron Rodgers, who will probably be the MVP this year in the NFL. He's not going. He was named to the Pro Bowl. He's not going. Tom Brady was also named to the Pro Bowl. It'd be nice to see him out there now that he has retired, take one last bow and get those cheers out there. He's not going. Dak Prescott was named as an alternate. He's not going. So that's why I'm saying it's a joke, because what's going on right now isn't what's going on when you and I were fans of the Pro Bowl 10, 20, 30 years ago, where the stars actually went. When Troy would go, when Emmett would go, when Barry Sanders would go, it was an honor for them and they would go. But nowadays, they're just not there anymore, man. You're getting Kirk Cousins as a quarterback for the NFC.
You mean you don't want to see the dream matchup of Kirk Cousins throwing the ball to
CeeDee Lamb? I mean, and congratulations to CeeDee Lamb. Okay, he's a great player. He's a great player, and congratulations to him. It's going to be his first Pro Bowl. But I don't want to see that, because what I want to see is, back in the day, the Pro Bowl was after the Super Bowl. So you would actually see some of these star players also, that were in the Super Bowl go out there. I want to see, Aaron Rodgers throw the ball to Cooper Kupp. I want to see, Pat Mahomes throw the ball to Jamar Chase. But these guys aren't going. And that's the problem. But another problem that we were talking about here, going to pop culture, because again, here at halftime, we talk sports, pop culture, nostalgia. We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants today, because the lights went out here at the studio and they were out for the first 45 minutes because of the weather, I'm assuming. The generator kicked in, but the lights were off in much of the building, including the studio here. And during the break, I was like, hey, Pledge, have you seen the nominations for the 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I didn't, but you said the first one, and I immediately took umbrage with it.
Well, okay. So the first nominee that's out there, which, by the way, shows that we are old, okay?
Oh, God.
Because in order to be considered for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you had to have been out for 25 years. Are you telling me it's been 25 years since Eminem first dropped an album? Eminem, who's playing the halftime show at the Super Bowl this year, is a nominee for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, his first album came out in like 97.
Man, the Marshall
99, the Marshall Mathers LP.
Yeah.
Or no, that was the Slim Shady LP. Marshall Mathers LP was his second album drop.
So along with Eminem, being considered is Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie,
okay,
Duran Duran,
Umbrage,
Beck, Pat Benatar, Carly Simon, A Tribe Called Quest, Kate Bush, Devo, Judas Priest, the Eurythmics, MC5, New York Dolls, Rage Against the Machine, and Dionne Warwick. I think what you're thinking is that out of those, 12, 15 names that I mentioned there, that maybe only 4 of them are what you would consider to be a rock band. I mean, Pat Benatar, Judas Priest, Rage Against the Machine.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Beck.
Yeah, I could see Beck.
So
alternative rock.
Yeah. So that's the thing. You have a problem. You have umbrage with this.
I took umbrage with a lot of this. Dolly Parton goes into the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Grand Ole Opry. Like, that's where Dolly Parton belongs. Eminem belongs in the Rap or Hip Hop Hall of Fame. Like, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should be for the rock and roll artists.
Now, the thing is, though, is that rock music comes from R&B. That's the genesis
Rhythm
of it all.
and blues.
Right. It comes from that. I mean, all the things that Elvis did, he wasn't new to it. Black musicians were doing it first.
He was the king of rock and roll.
Black musicians were doing it first. I mean, we'll talk about Eminem. Eminem talks about Elvis doing what black people do in one of his songs. I forgot which song it was, but he makes reference to that point. He goes, I'll do that too. It's the real Slim Shady.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about that is that R&B was the ground. R&B is where it all started, right? Blues music, R&B music. So because of that, I can see why people like Lionel Richie would be considered. A Tribe Called Quest would be considered, because again, it just grows from that family tree.
Mm-hmm. We cannot classify certain genres as certain genres and then say they're all one at the end of it.
Hey, we all come from the same place, man.
It's not true. That's like saying
you and I have something in common. And every single listener has something in common.
That's saying the Pro Football Hall of Fame, like we're going to start letting in soccer players because, soccer is basically just football.
No, man. It's a different sport, man.
It's not. It comes from kicking the ball, which is what football is.
Man, music is all the same four chords anyway, man. You and I have something in common. We either come from the Middle East or we come from Africa. That's where people come from, dude. So that's the thing, is that I can see this, and it makes the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame even more exciting, because if I was to ask you this, name me some good rock bands that came out in the last 10 or 15 years. I'm hard-pressed to find them. Yeah, they don't exist anymore, man. If you look at rock bands of the 60s, I can name you 10 or 15, 20 great bands of the 60s. I can do the same for the 70s. The 80s, the 80s was a lot of new wave, right? A lot of new wave. There were some rock bands out there, a lot of hair metal, but I'm not a big fan of hair metal. I don't consider that to be rock music. Well, it is rock music. I just don't consider it to be good rock music. Which, by the way, last night...
Now you're picking and choosing what rock music is?
Yeah, last night, my wife and I were watching
It's all the same, except hair metal, because I don't like it.
Pam and Tommy, the new...
The Acquired Hypocrite.
The new series that's on Hulu right now. We watched about 10 minutes of it, and I was like, turn it off.
Oh, you don't like Sebastian Stan?
Who is that? Is Seth Rogen in that movie? Or that
know.
show? I don't know if he is or not.
He may be like one of the ancillary characters.
But basically, it's from what I understand, from what I've read, it revolves around the sex tape that Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee had, and that it was apparently taken from somebody who worked at their home. And my wife and I were watching about 10 or 15 minutes of it, and she goes that she's going to continue watching it without me, but I had no interest. Why? Because I hate hair metal. I hate all of it. I don't consider.
Yes, apparently Seth Rogen is in the show.
Yeah, I want. He's really skinny. He's really skinny. That's why I couldn't tell if it was him or not.
People are also wondering if the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame will let Pete Rose in.
Wow, dude! I went to Vegas one time and I saw Pete Rose at the corner of a hotel signing autographs for like 6 people in line. It was so bad.
Did you get it?
It was so bad. No, I didn't get it because I wasn't going to spend $150 for that. He can have 4,000 hits. Don't care. I'm not spending $150 for him to do that. Though he does belong in the Hall of Fame. Taking a look at this list here: Eminem, Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, Duran Duran, Beck, Pat Benatar. Congratulations to all you guys. Judas Priest, Rage Against the Machine. They're probably going to name 5 because last year they named a handful. Tina Turner made it last year along with the Go-Go's, Jay-Z, the Foo Fighters, and Carole King. So the question is, Carole King, mostly known for her writing, right? Lionel Richie, known for both performance and writing. But I don't mind that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has different genres in there because it all has origins from blues, has origins from jazz and R&B.
Is Mozart in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, Mozart is called classical music.
No, but it's all from the same, you said.
It's not American.
The Acquired Hypocrite, got it.
It is not American. Okay, American music, we're talking about jazz. We're talking about the stuff that you hear in New Orleans.
But the Beatles are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, aren't they?
They are.
They're not American.
They play rock music, however.
But they're not American.
They play rock music. It is not the American Hall of Fame.
But you said all the music's the same.
It is not the American Hall of Fame, dude. You know what? I'm going to throw my phone through the window right now.
Because I'm calling out your BS?
You are just nitpicking everything today. We'll debate this more. The Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. If you want to talk about any of this, do you believe Eminem belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Are you okay with Duran Duran being there? At least Duran Duran has musical instruments, man. It is new wave, but they played instruments. Okay, I'm fine with that. But man, you have completely flustered me today. First, it was the lack of electricity in this building, and now
that's not my fault. You cannot put that on me.
Well, no,
don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
You have compounded this. You're gonna beat me like I'm a Bronco. Tex Guerrero comes out on YouTube and says this would be a never-ending debate. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. We're going to put a bow on the show on the other side and try to figure out how to fill 9 minutes. This is halftime, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
The Bengals and the Rams are headed to L.A. for the big game. We've got you covered all week long live from Los Angeles. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
National Signing Day was a big day for Texas A&M as they added five-star defensive end Shamar Stewart and third-ranked safety Jacoby Matthews to what is considered to be the number one ranked recruiting class in the country. Last night, the Houston Rockets defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 115-104. Christian Wood and Jalen Green both had 21 points to get their Rockets their 15th win of the season. In Dallas last night, the Mavericks lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder 120-114 in overtime. Luka Doncic's 40 points and 10 assists weren't enough to get Dallas the win. And tonight at the AT&T Center, the Miami Heat will be hosted by the San Antonio Spurs with a tip-off set for 7:30. This is a rescheduled matchup between the two teams after being postponed on December 29th when Miami couldn't meet active player requirements. I'm Carl Schoening.
And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They also have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New COVID strains are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
According to TxDOT, on average, one motorcyclist dies every day on Texas roads. Motorcycle accidents can cause severe injuries, from road rash and broken bones to spinal injuries, brain injuries, and death. If you or a loved one were injured in a motorcycle crash, call Thomas J. Henry. Thomas J. Henry handles serious motorcycle accidents and gets serious results for injured clients. To learn more or start your claim today, visit tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Diamonds Direct makes it easy to go over the top this Valentine's with an expanded selection of the most romantic gifts, special designer trunk shows, and the return of our most popular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Now through Valentine's Day, we teamed up with the nation's most sought-after designers with a spectacular selection of affordable and timeless gifts. And with 5 years, 0 interest financing, you can go big. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond stud earrings and you pay $50 a month? Or a $4,000 diamond tennis bracelet for just $67 a month? It's a fact. Jewelry is the #1 gift for Valentine's, and Diamonds Direct is the #1 destination. We'll help you find the ideal gift at the best price, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Visit us in-store now or shop online for some great romantic gift ideas at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. On approved credit.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Find more jobs on the new Monster.com.
Jobs for night owls, early risers. Jobs for people who do their best thinking in the morning, or the evening, or the shower, or with TV cameras pointed in their face. Jobs for people who like the way they look in scrubs, or in cowboy hats, or tool belts. Even jobs for people who think they have a voice for radio. With more advice and jobs for career switchers, new grads, and digital nomads, Monster has all you need to find the right fit. Go to thenewmonster.com or download our app today.
Did you know that doctors use Mucinex? That's right. Mucinex is the #1 OTC brand doctors trust for themselves and their families. When you have cough and chest congestion, you need a medicine that's effective and long-lasting. So with cold and flu season upon us, why would you use anything else? Mucinex 12-hour DM extended release bilayer tablets allow for immediate and extended release, relieving cough and chest congestion for 12 hours. Grab Mucinex and put yourself back in control. Use as directed.
We're following the Bengals and Rams all the way to LA. Live all week leading up to the big game. Coverage starts Monday morning at 7. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Nearside App, and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
This is Jason Minnick. Get home with me and Joe Reinagle this afternoon, 4 till 7. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM. It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. We're live from the QC Kinetic Studios. Is this rock and roll? This is rock and roll. You know, first of all, I had a factual error earlier. Typically, I have a laptop out, you know, with some notes.
Mm-hmm.
I said tip-off for the Spurs game tonight was 7:30. Incorrect. It's 6 p.m. against the Miami Heat. Again, tip-off at 6 p.m. If you show up at 7:30, it'd be midway through the third. Don't do that. Okay. This has been an interesting show. I would like to have Tylenol sponsor the next, because I have a headache debating some. I mean, you were in here 1 minute ago asking me, why isn't NSYNC in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
And then you asked me about like Hispanic musicians, and like someone reached out and asked, well, are there any Latinos in there? Well, Selena's not in there. He goes, why isn't Selena in there?
Yeah.
I don't know. But Carlos Santana is, you know, Joan Baez is. Richie Valens, though, is not.
Brian Flores against the NFL, trying to shine light on something. I think we should shine a light on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the lack of diversity and letting Latinos in.
Dude, there's lack of diversity in all things, man. And you take a look at like Hollywood right now, which you would think, oh, it's very liberal Hollywood. No, a bunch of old people vote for things. That's why I don't take a lot of stock in the Grammys or the Oscars or anything like that. They don't, I mean, it's predominantly non-minority people who vote on this. Just is what it is. You know, but when it comes to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I thought it was kind of funny because you did bring up boy bands. And, you know, can a boy band be in there? What would be the first boy band in there? I believe the Jackson 5 is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So we already have one boy band in there, but that's a family band. But I would think the next one in, correct me if I'm wrong, would have to be New Edition.
I'll correct you.
Without New Edition, there's no Boys to Men. I mean, if you want to have another boy band that should be on there, Boys to Men should be.
I think Boys to Men did go in, didn't they?
And if they haven't already, they should be already, because Boys to Men, I mean, they dominated. They were like the Dallas Cowboys. They dominated from like 92 to 96, and then were never heard from again. But let's see here, Boys to Men. Will Boys to Men be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Dude, I mean, Boys to Men, I mean, they had records there that were for most number ones in a row.
Motown Philly, two.
The two albums, amazing. But we're talking about that ballad that they sang with Mariah Carey that was topping the charts for a record number of weeks. Outstanding, man. But, you know, it's an interesting conversation to have. But what's funny about this is that people are commenting on Facebook Live and on YouTube and on Twitter right now, saying that we're arguing with each other, we're bickering with each other. You should see us at the Rue Pub after a few cocktails, talking about the exact same type of conversations. We just go at each other, and it's nothing. We're not angry at each other, but you just know how to like get under my skin to like not piss me off, but make me annoyed in a way where I'm laughing.
And it's not that I don't agree with you. Sometimes I do. It's just I can find a hole in your argument.
I know you're coming over here. You're like, I think Beethoven's a first-year Hall of Famer, man.
Oh, first ballot, 100%.
First ballot, man. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then we're going to be over here saying that, opera singers should now be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Come on,
you
man.
did say that rock and roll is a derivative of all these genres.
I think it's what's considered to be contemporary music. That's what it is. It's a contemporary. Okay, they don't call it the Contemporary Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but that's basically what it is. It's basically 1930 and beyond, man. That's what it is.
Tex Guerrero says they should just call it the Music Hall of Fame. I agree with that.
Well, that is not fancy, and that doesn't sell tickets. Why is it in Cleveland?
Because Cleveland rocks,
Well,
I've been told.
Yeah, that's what Drew Carey said a long time ago. God, I have such a headache, Pledge. I hadn't done radio with you in a while, and right now, I feel like I pounded my head on this table 4 times already, man.
You're
Jeez.
welcome.
Jason Minix, Joe Reining will be back at 4 o'clock for the Blitz from 4 to 7. They'll be doing it from home. We had to come in, but they're doing it from home. Hey, everybody, be safe out there. Get home safely. Drive slowly. Be a good driver out there, and don't be on the road if you don't have to be. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
The storyline of Kanye is entertaining.
I'm telling